Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, it looks like somebody put some Corona in the coffee in LK. Not a pretty sight. Wow. Man, that's a swing trader's nightmare. Let's look at the charts. I don't even want to touch coffee. I don't even want to think about coffee. I'm switching to tea. Look at that. 28 to 5. Crazy. Well, did I miss the SPY review? No, Mark. We are just getting started here. So let's start with the spiders. And so yesterday we got was the turn lower. Looks like there's a bad tick in here, I think. And so was the gap down and a little rally. And let's get a little line out here. All right, we covered this in the room. All right, this is what you do with the gap downs. You can have intraday data, of course, but you're looking at the gaps. After they gap down through support, you look to the left, right? Always look to the left. You look to the left to see where it fell through. You mark off those areas. And, if it can lift off, sometimes, they go sideways and then they tank to the downside. That does happen. But they create support when that happens, right? But what you should do, pre-market, when you see the gap, you mark off those areas to the left as your reference point as to where sellers should show up. And we had a little measured move to the downside there. And, markets were up until the news came out, double the jobless claims, more than double than what was anticipated. So, well, you know what? Bad news. This is a 24-hour chart, Alex. These are just the spiders. So this lower right-hand chart is 24 hours. Right? The rest of them are day charts. Yeah. So I like to keep in perspective where this is and then see, okay, this is, looking at the ETF, I can see it's at, 246. And again, this is I think that's a bad thing. It didn't go up there. But anyway, I can see where it is in relation to yesterday's range. As to how far it's gapping into or below or whatever, so in this case, a bearish bar, how far it gaps into the bearish bar, and is there just follow through to the downside. So pushing down through 246, we're starting to push down below yesterday's low, and there's really nothing much to stop it from going down. I guess maybe 240, the whole number stops it, but this low area, let's use this here because it's kind of like, maybe something like that would be the downside for today. To be looking for a support area. And we'll look at the futures, but I'd say, looking at down here, and we'll see if it gets down there. But for longs, if we would get continued drop in the morning, say into the 10 o'clock or 10:30 reversal period, and we see the spiders down here, and we start seeing maybe like this, right? This little retest pattern over here, something like that. We can start thinking about longs, in that area. That would make sense. So the idea is patterns, however they shape up, whatever they look like. We're not getting into, it's got to look exactly like this. That is not how we operate. But bar by bar analysis tells us, hey, bottoming tail bar, pivots, retest, turns up, bullish price action, right? It should go up. So this kind of price action at this location would make sense for a counter trend move. That doesn't mean it's not coming down here, but maybe from 10:30 till 2 o'clock it rallies, right? So we have a bigger picture point of view, and at certain points during the trading day, we can have an intraday trader's point of view against the trend. Qs. Downside, this had the little breakout failure, what we call a little bit of a shock pattern there. Came down to support. Now it is at 182 and still above the support here. So it's dropped, and over the course of, well, we'll see where it is. We've got a half hour to the open. We'll see what it does here, but it's already started the drop. It's on support, so we can see it's beginning to stabilize in that area. We'll just assess what it does the first half hour or so of the open. YM, I should have IWM. It was holding here, and then it was kind of setting up what could have been maybe a bull flag, but we discussed over the last couple of days that bullish price action in a downtrend is not equal to bullish price action in an uptrend. So again, if we could take this picture and had it breaking out above the highs here, or even if this would have held and pushed up to the highs and we would have gotten this kind of price action, would have been much more reliable as a continuation to the upside, right? Versus possibly happening in a downtrend. More common sense, right? Without the Ichikumi clouds and all the other hocus pocus goes on there. All right, so 106 right there. And so whatever moved to the upside has evaporated, kind of opens up the door to 104 at least, and maybe it keeps going, but that should be the first stopping point. And well, we don't get much data there, but so many things just followed through to the downside yesterday, and not too much of a surprise. But the good thing about all of this is the way it came off of the low, and meaning it didn't have, a whole bunch of small bars coming off the low. It came out of the blocks with power, and that is a good start to potentially making a bottom. Right? We talked about that yesterday in MT Live, and the replay went out early this morning. If you didn't make it to the MT Live, it's a good one to to revisit and spend some time just reviewing that stuff. So let's go and take a look at the futures. Joe saying cruise ships getting hit hard. Yeah, well, Joe, they're not U.S. companies, so wherever they're paying their taxes to, let them come to the rescue. And futures, right? Look to the left. Right? Geez, look to the left. Don't need any of that stuff there. Topping tail. Sellers there again. All right, the news comes out. Down she goes. Well, there's the prior swing low, which that's where the buyers are going to show up. And we'll see if they can hold it there. All right, so here's an example of this didn't start out. This didn't start out with a giant wide range bar blasting off. No, it was a grinder off the low up into resistance. You see the difference there? Explosive power. And I showed you the internals, how they jumped from the lower level to the extreme higher level on that move. That's a positive. So now we're waiting to see, hey, can it get down here? Get a retest pattern. Now, looking at the futures, you get a little bit of a different picture here in that we have to really see what happens here today. And while this totally looks like it's going lower, and it's holding here, but just realize that this is the beginning of the day. And so with that being said, I just keep in mind, I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, if this bar looked like that at the end of the day, the bias is going to change, right? So if it breaks through here and keeps going, fine, we just go with it, right? It's a little extended here in the short term, and it's down here some support, so we got to see what actually happens. But just looking at, you know, this pattern and this here, we'll just see what happens at 4 o'clock. But if this was to look like that, the whole picture begins to change, to turn that into a green bar. And then, of course, you know, it's like, well, that's all well and good. The next step is, well, can you clear that level? Or, you know, the Christmas tree with a red bar. So day by day is what I'm trying to point out here. No one knows what's going to happen at the end of the day. So for right now, this is what we're going with, but it's at support. So it's not the place to be pressing the button on the short side and maybe, you know, get caught into some kind of retracement. Yeah, Marsh on YouTube there, we looked at the LK, gotten crushed. Hopefully you're not in it. So NASDAQ, same story. Down here at support, got this big support level here. We'll see if it holds. And you can see if it doesn't, it opens up to what we call a void. And you'll see if it starts breaking through here, it's going to get ugly to the downside. But hey, we start shorting things more aggressively, right? That's what we do. All right. YM, probably going to be the same thing. This was up about 400 a little while ago, right? When it was up at the resistance area up there. Now it's breaking down. The next support not too far off. And so keep an eye on our thoughts about 20,000 as a whole number today. Same story, heading lower, coming into support, got the void below. All right, we'll wait for some kind of retracement. Crude oil, getting a little bit of a lift off of the retest pattern, right? Coming back down a little bit now, but trying to hold that level there. Right? Came down to 20 bucks, really nothing to the left there. So it's beginning to create some support and getting some lift. And just a thought I took a look at. No, I didn't take a look at Disney. I clicked on it, and this thing is moving the symbols around as it's updating. Exxon, well, I moved it out of the. All right. I think now it came right before it was up here and it was looking pretty good. Now it's collapsing like everything else, so it doesn't look so nice anymore. All right, so we're not interested there. Yeah, breakdown. Bonds, surprisingly, it's not pushing through that level, but certainly looks like it's going to do that. Gold perking up here today. It's got a void, right? Wide range bar. We know there's a void there, but coming up to a little resistance there. I'm going to go back to those futures. Yeah, they're breaking through there. Watch out for the whipsaw on the 100% retracement. It's picking up to the downside here. Gold we looked at, picking up silver. Kind of another example of a bull flag kind of a pattern, right? There's the pole, there's the flag, but it's in a downtrend. So this does look like at the moment, like it can go up, but it's in a downtrend. It's not the same as this picture in an uptrend with a void up above. So there you go. Well, yours, Dan. One thing's pretty quick, but yeah, that cream may be tainted, Lawrence, and that Lucan coffee might not go down so easy.
Yeah, so yeah, Greg posted a link that class action lawsuit filed yesterday, and So I immediately said, that's old news, you know. So something's definitely up. This would not be doing this based on news of yesterday. Wow. All right, let's take a look at opens first. We have very light inventory on the weekly options trader. Microsoft, we have a put spread, stop under 150. And then Zoom we added yesterday, and I sent out an alert. Let me give it to you all here. Just adjusting the stop. So on Zoom, yeah, this we did a way out of the money bear call credit spread, and it's all in the paper now that it's getting hacked by these people. I forget the term. There's an article in the journal today. Just spammers coming in to Zoom meetings and putting their junk in their spam. Hey, good morning, all. So that we'll try to get half profit. We might even get better than 20 cents on this big gap down. So that's it on the weekly options trader. The swing ladder, we're heavily short. We have one long position in Amazon that held the stop. And we have CVS covered a call. And that's getting whipped around here, not only because of the market, but competitor WBA had earnings, and that's getting hit. And every other position is bearish. And let's see here, CVX we're short, which if oil's going to hold, I'm not liking that position. So I'll actually look into legging into a covered put, which is the opposite of a covered call to increase cost basis. JR on YouTube asking about SynF. Looks like it's opening flat here, so not a gapper, had a breakout failure. Today's Thursday, so on Tuesday, it's in a downtrend. It looks like a short under yesterday's low. For day trading, this was a nice reversal right here. If it can open flat and take out a 10-minute high, you might get a little counter trend day trade is all, but daily there's no pattern. It's a short under yesterday's low as a swing trade. Diamonds, we are short. DRI is a bullish position. My bad. We're short way out of the money. $15 puts. Hershey short. IAC short. Lyft short. We took a $2 gain into the close, so we're holding half. Ross, bear call credit spread. XRT, the sector, retail's getting hit hard for obvious reasons. And, just the amount of, defaults going on. And I was thinking that today, that the winner, in terms of the legal profession, that bankruptcy lawyers are going to be in huge demand. And 5 minutes later, I saw a commercial for a bankruptcy attorney here locally in Lauderdale. I'm like, here they come. But yeah, the malls, they got a big problem on their hand. I read another article. Greg, I don't know if you all were talking about this yesterday. They're calling it rent strike. It's going on San Fran, it's going on in LA, it's going on in Boston, New York, and they're just saying, let's all, whether you can afford it or not, they're saying, let's just go on strike and not pay rent. It's amazing. How is that going to turn out? But I did read in the journal that Any mortgage that is federally backed, which the paper said is about 70% of all residential homes, they're backed one way or another once they sell the loans, etc. That they are, you can defer payments 90 days at a time up to a year, and then they say you figure it out with the bank, you know, how you want to add it on to your mortgage at the end of the period, or, you know, pay it then, whatever. But those are only federally backed loans. All right, Snap, we are short. VXX actually is a bullish position. We're short with a stop over the week's high. On WWD, we're short. We still have 2/3 of the position. And that's it. Let's look at some gappers here. PVH, you know, anything up. Well, the market, I found it very interesting. You know, the market was up huge pre-market here, and then the unemployment data came out, and I was watching that they were showing the Dow, and it was up 350, then it dropped to 300, 290, and then it's right back up to 360. I'm like, oh, okay, they didn't care about 6.4 million. And then, so I don't know if they talked more data came out, but then it was, you know, then the whole thing gave it up. So something had to have come out after just the initial shock, because it went up. Yeah, just, you know, I mentioned this yesterday. It's just shocking to me that people get on the news and say, "Oh, the number's much worse than we expected." Really? Who didn't expect it to be horrendous numbers? AMC in the paper, movie theaters, they're all closed. They said they hired a bankruptcy specialist. That's coming. No pattern though for us. Oh, PVH. So 33.50, no pattern at all. Certo. Certo, what do you got? 850. Well, that's a bullish gap. We'll keep that on the list. Maybe 30-minute high. Let me put them here in the bottom right. Yeah, Dave, I hear what you're saying. Nevro, 84 bucks. So a bearish gap, but I don't know what to do with it. Cry had earnings, but there's no gap. BSX earnings, it has this horizontal support, whereas many patterns are under the 4 days of prior bars on the daily. Yeah, and Anthony, I listen to music all day. But this is a bearish 15-minute chart. So it's on, you know, those tails that I just showed you on the daily chart. They're right here, these 3 humps. So it's on support, but 100% retracement, can't bounce, giving up the gap. So a 15-minute low. This looks like a short. You know, first target, 29 bucks. AAL. There's a lot of business news, obviously, in the journal today. Makes me look at stocks. So AAL said that they drew down their credit lines. I forget the number, like 3 billion or something. So it was up. Now it's negative. No pattern. You know, I've been saying there's no turn, T-U-R-N. When we're looking for retest patterns, we want what we call a potent reversal. And we got none. I looked at the Airlines yesterday. Yeah, see these still in pain. PVH we looked at, shown. I think they came out, it's either earnings or they came out and said no forward guidance. But I mean, I expect that from pretty much everybody. I mean, I can't think of any industry that's not affected by this pandemic, just different degrees. So this one, might have been a turn, went up. Now it's gapping up and it's sloppy, but it's worth keeping an eye on. AYI, I think this had earnings, but I can't, there's no gap. APOG 2050, bullish gap, but no pattern. Yeah, I want to scan all the oil sectors today. Yeah, if XOM can get above there. So XOP, XLE, OIH. Yeah, let's scan them all. Wow, OIH under $4. Isn't that the price of a Big Mac? You can either have a Big Mac or one share of OIH. Yeah, WBA earnings for, oh, it's a bearish gap. It's a big gap. Wow, it's a mess. Little stock 144, bullish gap for a little stock. It's gapping over all this. I'm just guessing it might be Corona stock related. We'll keep an eye on that. CCL in the news. They said they had to go to the debt market and raise some money. I think they got 6 billion. That's what I read. But they had to pay like an 11% yield, I think. Something, whatever they said when they did one many years ago, they only had to pay 1%. Maybe it's a kicker to a warrant or something. I don't know. I didn't hear it. But that's just another business attempt for them to fight their cash crunch here. It was up a little bit pre-market. Now it's, look at that. That is steady, steady, steady dumping. Look at that. Wow, that is a beautiful late day breakdown. Look at that. That would have been so easy to manage. You just trail 15-minute bars highs and then you just close it out into the close. Wow. I didn't see that yesterday. RCL. Yep. No turn. Norwegian, no turn. I think I read that the 2 cruise ships docked in Miami that had them all. They were wanting to come here to Lauderdale. So I guess Miami took them. I mean, Miami has more hospitals. It makes more sense for them to deal with it than us. All right, yeah, oil, Halliburton I have here on my watch list. Up going sideways, big old price void. So 30-minute high, that's an idea. APT, we were watching the last couple of days. Oxy, possible double bottom. That's lagging a little bit. Devon, another beat up one, maybe 30-minute high. Noble, another, yeah, a lot of these beat up ones look similar. IO, I don't know what you do for a living. Was up huge pre-market, but now it looks like it's back down and I'm not getting data. I don't know why. Nike under yesterday's low. Yeah, no, we can't short here because we had a very steady sell-off pre-market, of course. Look at that. Look, that is not a pattern to short right there. And now we bounced into the open, and now it's bouncing more. And TECL, no pattern.